Okay, think about this for a second. You're in the kitchen, right? Maybe making a curry, or I don't know, a nice warming soup, and you reach for those staples, ginger, turmeric. They're just there, so
Yeah.
familiar, comforting even. We definitely know they taste great. But what if, just what if, they're doing way more for us? Today, we're going deep on a really fascinating new study. It connects these everyday spices to something pretty surprising, the fight against tumors.
Yeah, and it's exciting because it feels like science is catching up with, traditional wisdom in a way. So our mission today is to unpack this new research. It's from Osaka Metropolitan University, and it looks at a compound in Kencur ginger. It's related to the ginger we all know and how it might mess with the way cancer cells produce energy.
Okay, let's break that down. Cancer cells, they're kind of tricky, aren't they? Healthy cells are usually pretty efficient with energy. But cancer cells, they often prefer this less efficient method called glycolysis, even when there's plenty of oxygen around. It's called the Warburg effect. It's always seemed a bit weird, like choosing a sputtering old generator instead of, the main power grid.
Exactly. And what's so interesting here, what this study found, is about this specific compound in Kencur ginger. It's called ethyl p-methoxycinnamate.
Whoa, say that again?
Ha! Yeah, it's a bit of a tongue twister. Ethyl p-methoxycinnamate. But the fascinating part is how it works. It doesn't, directly attack that glycolysis process you mentioned. Instead, it does something more indirect but really clever. It actually blocks the way cancer cells build fat. It's a process called de novo fatty acid synthesis. And that fat-building process, it's absolutely crucial for their energy, their growth, building cell parts, all of it.
Huh. So it's not hitting the main energy button, but like a key supply chain for the energy system. So if it cuts off that fat building, the cancer cells must kind of panic a bit. Is that the idea? Like you cut off their plan A for building stuff, so they desperately ramp up that inefficient glycolysis plan B even more just to survive.
That's a great way to put it. They do seem to panic and crank up glycolysis, but here's the kicker, as the research suggests.
Yeah.
That desperate shift, relying even more on that inefficient process, might actually be their undoing. It could make them more vulnerable.
Okay, that's a really interesting twist. So they overcompensate and it backfires.
Precisely. The research this was led by Associate Professor Akiko Kojima-Yuasa, published in Scientific Reports. It showed this compound suppresses that fatty acid synthesis. And the direct results, lower ATP, that's the cell's energy currency metabolism, gets seriously disrupted. Basically, you get stressed out, struggling cancer cells. When you step back, it really is a beautiful link, isn't it, between this hard science and what generations have sort of known instinctively about foods like ginger and turmeric.
Yeah, it really is. So what does this actually mean for, for us listening? It feels like one of those moments where cutting edge science suddenly goes, oh, right, about something that's been part of everyday life, part of cultural heritage for ages. I mean, think about it. Your grandparents, maybe their grandparents, using these spices constantly, not just for flavor, but maybe they just knew they were beneficial. And now here's a study giving some real scientific weight to that intuition.
It's powerful validation, absolutely. It bridges that gap, doesn't it, between ancient wisdom and lab coats. It shows we're not just seasoning food. Maybe we're seasoning life with health, with that heritage, and maybe, just maybe, with a bit of healing too. It really feels like we're connecting those dots now. It's an exciting time.
So maybe the next time you're chopping up some ginger or stirring turmeric into a dish, just pause for a second. Realize you're tapping into something really ancient and, well, as science is starting to show us, something incredibly smart too.
Definitely. And it just highlights this ongoing journey, right? Exploring what's already there in nature through a scientific lens. Maybe that old saying has more to it than we thought. Let food be your flavor and your medicine, something to chew on.